Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Dark Angel Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot. So this is a show I've been wanting to talk about for a good while. I'm only going to review the first episode now. At some point in time, I will do a couple of other episodes later, and I will do a rundown review. I'll probably do the rundown review sometime after this one, but for now, I just wanted to get through just like this episode. And you know, it's crazy. This came back out in 2000. Well, the year 2000. It feels weird. Like you feel like you want to say something after 2000. It's been a while since I just say 2000. I was like in the 11th grade back then. I was still doing the whole VHS thing. Never done DVD. And I used to record a lot of these episodes. And I love this show to death. Well, the first season, that is. I did not like what they did in the second season whatsoever with the whole, I mean, I get it. And I like the movie Chameleon, and they did something similar to that of Dark Angel Season 2, but that was its own self-contained thing and it's something different. And so it's kind of like, why do that for this show? And then when I read what the potential third season was going to be about, I'm like, oh, that's just like awful terrible. But this show used to be the hottest thing back in 2000. And people remember it, but nobody thinks about it no more. This is the show that made Jessica Alba a huge star. It was her breakout role. This show's not even on streaming. What is that about? No streaming site has this show. I could have sworn this was on Hulu, but I guess not. And I thought it would at least be on Disney Plus because they bought everything that was Fox and they aired it on Disney Plus. But nope, this is not on streaming. The only way you can watch this is on DVD. And so, yeah, because it sucks. I really wanted to rewatch the second season to see if it was that bad as I remember. I can't even do that now. I do remember some episodes of season 2 that I recorded on like VHS. I have to find those somewhere. But like, yeah, man, this show was like this was one of the greatest shows of 2000. Like it really was in season 1 because it was something completely different and fresh. It was kind of like this dystopian cyberpunk type show. Um it had to do with transgenic, superhuman type people whose DNA has been augmented for them to be like super soldiers and stuff. And everything about this was just interesting and like new. Like, by the way, like the fight choreography was just bizarre and weird. Like, they try to make you think, okay, these are superhuman people. So the way it was choreographed, it just had a bizarre feel to it. Also, the fight choreography was kind of weak. Like, I've seen better hand-to-hand combat stuff in Power Rangers, but the fighting scenes in this show, like, there wasn't really much action. It was basically just a drama. And the action was very quick, very short, and very few. Maybe 1 to 2 fight scenes, one at the most. But it's the drama that really got you. It's the scenery, the cinematography that really got you. Even like the acrobatics was kind of weird. Like sometimes you'll see like a normal flip in the air. Other times to show that she's superhuman, she'll jump up in the air with little to no ease just on wires, and it looked very strange and bizarre. And they would like speed up the film that made it look even kind of weirder. So it had kind of that like weird look but it made you think, okay, she's superhuman and everything. This is something different. So I can respect that, you know. And the drama was great. The characters were great until they got into the second season. The second season, a lot of stuff that they built up that made the first season so interesting, it just killed all that off in the second season. But this ain't the rundown review. This is just the first episode review. So let's get into it. So basically it starts off. And we see a bunch. It starts off in the year 2009 because this show is set in 2009. Well, this flashback, that is. The actual show is set in 2019. So they kind of picture what the world would kind of look like then. So we see like the snow is nighttime, and all of a sudden these kids bust up a window and they're running outside in the snow, and they're dressed very unusual. Like they're dressed in like hospital gowns, they're barefooted, and they have military buzz cuts, standard issue. And so they're just running, but who are they running from? Well, there's some guards. The guards are tracking them down with dogs and everything, and these kids are running for their lives, and like they're sprinting really good. And so they're trying to escape and evade. And so there's like one kid trying to help out this other. Now they all look like boys to me because of their buzz cut. But apparently this one person who's the main one running is a girl. And so like the guards are coming. This one person I think has like a gun. And I think the person says like run Max or something like that. And so I don't know if the other kid gets shot or not. But then the girl Max falls on like the ice, and she's down in the water. And then as the guards are like, roaming through that area, Max is still underwater in the freezing cold, by the way. She can withstand the freezing cold. She can hold her breath underwater for a long time. And the men just pass. And then we hear like the narration, the monologue coming from the main character, talking about how like, it felt like a dream, this and that, and 10 years later and stuff. And so we get her as an adult. She is now 19 years old because she was 9 when this happened. And she's on top of some weird building. And I think they're in San Francisco, I believe, even though it's filmed in Canada. But I think they have some weird skyscraper building looking thing. I don't know what building this is. But I think it is a historical building somewhere in San Francisco, I believe. And so she's just narrating about how like how her life changed, how she knows nothing, how she don't know how many of the kids escaped. And this way is better because she doesn't have to like give them like, well, she can give them like their own backstory about how this person grew up and what kind of life they had and all this other kind of stuff. And so this character is Max, played by Jessica Alba. And this is her breakthrough role because she was in the Flipper TV show as a regular, but nobody really knew her back then. And then she did a couple of movies here and there and a couple of TV shows like Love Boat and stuff. But this was her breakout role, and she won it. There was like 1,000 girls tried out, and she won. And this is, till date, her best role ever. Her career in Hollywood has kind of like fizzled out, mainly because she starred in a bunch of like movies that kind of like flopped. She started getting like typecast in some type of roles, and then she tried to have like a TV comeback with LA Finest, which was a Bad Boys spinoff with Gabrielle Union. But like that only lasted for 2 seasons, and then it ended. And now she's an entrepreneur with her own like I think like skincare company or something like that. And so like she's just talking about like the escape and everything, and then it cuts from that, and then it cuts to like her closing her med cabinet in the bathroom and her shaking. There's something weird going on with her, and it's kind of like, whoa, like what's going on with you and stuff. Like she's just like spazzing out on the floor, having like a seizure, and she's like popping these pills. And so like then she's having flashbacks of her and the other kids like marching and everything, and it's very militant, and they're like doing fighting skills and everything, and she's learning how to like fight in hand-to-hand combat, and it's just like insane. It's like, dude, what was this, And so the intrigue is beyond there, right? Now when you watch the trailer for this show back in the day, that's how I got known to this show. I'm just like, whoa, she's hot, she's doing this, she's saying all this cool stuff. Like, what's this about? I didn't know all this military stuff was going on. And you'll see little clips here and there, but then it's kind of like, oh, this is made by James Cameron, by the way, so that's why it probably has that like Terminator-ish type style. So then it goes from that for her talking to her roommate. And her roommate is played by, what's her name? Jessica Blake, Block, or Jennifer Blake or Block, something like that. I remember her to Frills, Friends Till the End, a TV movie she did with Shannon Doherty. And you can find that movie on YouTube, actually. And so, like, I used to have the hugest crush on her. I think her name is Jennifer Blake. That's what it is. I used to have the hugest crush on her, man. Like her voice, her hair, the way she looked and everything. And so I was really happy that she was in this show. But then she doesn't last long. Halfway into the first season, she's gone because they didn't really do nothing with her character. And so they are roommates, and their apartment is super small and super dirty. One thing I love about this show is everything looks nasty, dirty. Nothing looks clean unless you're in a high, swanky, billionaires type place. But everything is nasty. Work environment, nasty, filthy. People's homes, filthy, nasty. The streets, filthy, nasty. This is how Gotham City should look in the TV shows and movies, but they never do. And you gotta remember, they graffiti all the walls, like all on there, so it gives you that visual. This is a dystopian future, and they always put trash in the streets, like newspapers, this and that, and they dress the streets to make it look like that. Why can't Batwoman Gotham City do this? Like, why not? Gotham's supposed to be nasty, not clean. Nolan's Batman series, Gotham City, was clean. I'm tired of seeing a clean Gotham. And so there's this police guard who busts through asking for money. He's shaking them down. Apparently, this is what happened. So, remember when I said they broke out of that facility? Well, soon after they broke out, some terrorists set off an EMP above America, took out everything for several years. Just went pitch black dark. So people had to caveman it back in the good old days, you know what I'm saying? And that's when everything went to a dystopia. She monologues that the world went from the biggest, strongest company in country in the world to a third world country overnight. And they're still feeling the effects of it. People are still poor. People are still hungry. People are just rude to each other. It is very different. And these police were set up in place, especially during the blackout, because things went crazy. And so now they have sector police that block off certain sections of the city. You can't even enter another part of the city without identification and stuff. You can't really leave the state without identification and a good reason to leave. And they have these drones. My first time ever seeing a drone, and they're called hover drones, and they're these round little circles, and the police use them to spy around and check out crime and stuff like that. And so after she said, after they give the money to the dude and everything, her roommates are like, why are you always nice to this guy? He shakes us down for money all the time. And so she's all she just talks about how she puts spit in his coffee in the morning and stuff. Max, our main character, is a very sharp-tongued woman. She's gorgeous beyond belief, and she has a major chip on her shoulder. She has an attitude. She is rude. She is blunt. She is nasty. But she does care about her friends. But if her friends do something wrong, she'll let them have it. She's just all around mean, which is funny because there's rumors that Jessica is just like that. Even Jessica has admitted she has a ghetto attitude. And Jensen Ackles, who was in the second season of this show, he said she was horrible to work with. They could not get along because she just picked on him and stuff. But I think they get along a little bit better now and stuff. Plus she was going through some stuff. And so it's weird because when she broke out this place, she just looked like a sweet, innocent girl. But then, this sweet, innocent girl turned out to be so rude and nasty. It's just so weird. And so when the blackout happened, that's how she was able to escape and evade this military facility for so long. And so when she's going to work, because she rides her bike to work, because she works at Jam Pony, which is kind of like this mail delivery system on a bike. And so she has this unusual barcode on the back of her neck. And she makes sure she has her hair long, her hat's covering it up, and she doesn't want the hover drone to see that, because then it will alert, that military facility will like hack through the police system and track her down. And so we see that before she goes to work, she goes to this one man's house. It's this interracial couple. His name is Theo, and he's sick with some kind of disease. And they're talking about how, like, um, the medicine isn't working. Like, they're very poor, very poor. Like, I can't even get no like good pictures of this show and show you what it looks like. But just no, it is like the buildings are dirty, disgusting. They look like abandoned buildings that a gang has took over and then later left. Like they did look that bad. And you feel bad 'cause this man's laying on the floor sick. Like you can tell something's really wrong with him. And so then when she goes to work, her boss is like super rude and mean. He's just like, tell Theo, he's gonna be fired. He doesn't come to work, and she's all like, he's sick. He's all like, I don't care. And so we see some other people at her job that she's actually friends with. There is Herbal Thought, which is like this black man with a strong Jamaican accent. It's fake. And then he played the quiz master on Sabrina Teenage Witch. Then there's Sketchy. He's just like this tall white dude with shaggy hair who is sketchy. And he has like a girlfriend that bakes some cookies and all this and that. And then there's Original Cindy. That's literally what they call her. She is like this black, sharp-tongued ghetto woman who's a lesbian. And she was one of probably like the first lesbians I ever seen on TV. This show was actually one of the first shows to show like a transgender person in like one episode. And so Matt, she does like her stuff and she delivers something and then she sees this building across the street. She likes this building. Now she has the ability to see very far and she has the ability to hear and run fast and stuff. And so she's liking apparently what she sees in this building. And the question is why? Well, it turns out she is a cat burglar, very much like Catwoman and stuff. The main protagonist is a thief. This was insane when I saw this. I'm just like, isn't she technically a bad guy? No, she's the good girl. And so she makes it to where she'll be able to get into the building easy, like putting like some tape on the door, stuff like that, because she plans on hitting it. Now, why does she like need to like steal? Well, she needs money to pay a private eye. See, she's trying to track down the kids that escaped because those are like her family and stuff. She calls them her brothers and sisters. And this guy, he works at like a laundromat and he only look for him for money. Now he does small time investigation type stuff like looking for missing dogs, this and that. But she has him do some very high profile stuff that's gonna alert like the government someday. And so they're both always rude to each other, this and that. And he said he'll do it for some extra money, this and that. Now she rides a motorcycle when she gets around town. She does never wear a helmet. She wears goggles, but sometimes when she's in the street, she has to turn the light on because, filming procedures in Canada, they're very strict about that. But when they're like on an open road, she doesn't turn the light on because she can see at night. And she says she never sleeps. Her mind is wired completely different. Now, one of the cool things about this character is she does have a flaw. She doesn't always necessarily understand stuff. Because she basically, after she is, see, this is the thing. She mentioned when she was monologuing that when she escaped, she didn't know what was on the outside world. Like when those kids escaped, they didn't know what they was getting themselves into. And so they had to split up. And when they split up, she was found by somebody. And she's also, that's also who she's trying to track down, the woman who found her and everything. And so this lady will be brought up in the second episode. So anyway, when she escaped, she found that lady. She stayed overnight, but then she left the next day because they're trained to keep on moving. However, that changed all until she was found by this family, a man and his daughter, and then they pretty much raised her. And so she learned like things here and there, but she doesn't always quite understand like people that well. Now, one thing she does that's really interesting in this pilot, the pilot's 2 episodes. So it's basically like a movie. She monologues a lot, an extreme lot, even to the point where it gets kind of annoying. But because she has a great sounding voice, sometimes you don't always like get tired of, but it's just like she's always constantly talking either in her head or out loud when she's in a room with other people. And even when it's a certain situation going, she's just monologuing. And like, when there's one dude's like, what the world are you talking about? Like she's just constantly talking to herself. And it's probably something to do with when she was younger, because the kids were never allowed to talk and everything. They had to like whisper or use sign language and stuff. And so, let me say, by the way, Jessica Simpson, I'm getting it wrong, Jessica Alba. Jessica Alba looks exactly today the same way she did years ago. She has not aged at all. The only difference is her cheeks aren't puffy no more, and her lips aren't as pouty. See, in the first season, she had these baby cheeks and these pouty lips. But in the second season, she slimmed down. Like, she was never thick or nothing like that. Like, never. Like, it was just her cheeks were puffy and stuff. But in the second season, something happened and she slimmed down. She lost her cheeks and her lips got less pouty. And it's been that way ever since. But she's literally never aged. She looks exactly the same. And also her hair has changed. Instead of being poofy, curly, wavy, by the second season, it went straight, and she just kept it that way for the rest of her life. And so, like, where am I at now? Monologuing, checking that place out. So yeah. So she hires this dude to look for like the kids and that woman. And so at some point in time, the man who does the PI stuff, somebody breaks into his place. When he comes back, they beat the snot out of him. And so it turns out that they made it look like a robbery. See, since he's hacking into all these systems, looking into government facilities about these kids, they have gotten on to him now. And he doesn't want no part of this. So in a way, it's time for the big heist. Now, this was in the big like TV trailer and stuff. It was one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen. Now, you gotta remember with this show, pretty much everything is practical. Everything. The flipping, the motorcycle riding. Now, some motorcycle stuff and other things is a little like green screen, but other than that is real, 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 real. They hook you on wires, they do everything. I miss that so much. So there's a cool scene where she's looking to break into the next building. So she swings through the air, through all these skyscraper buildings with a harness on her back. She's on the building, she's ready, and then boom, she's flying like a angel, a dark angel, because she's wearing an all black outfit. She's just soaring through the sky. It's a real stunt double doing this for the majority of it, and then she does a little bit towards the end when you see her like swooping to the building. And I was just like, man, that's so cool. Oh, and the music is so great in this show. I love it. And so her outfit. Now, when she does her burglary stuff, she wears the same black outfit. It's just like a cotton spandex kind of blend of like pants, a zip up shirt type jacket type thing. And then sometimes she'll wear like a leather vest that's quilted like over it. I don't know if she might wear the leather outfit in this episode, but she wears the leather outfit in the next couple episodes. Now, in the next couple episodes, she don't monologue as much as she does in this one. And I love her outfit. I love the black outfit. I love that black vest. And so as she's like slinking around, stealing some stuff, she overhears something. Now, I didn't mention this part. Eyes only. Which, by the way, if you look, This was the inspiration to that of my YouTube channel. Like the templates, like the border and everything, the border with my eyes showing. This is where I got the idea from. I saw this many years ago and I was very just like wowed by this. And then many years later, I told myself if I ever do like a YouTube channel, I'm gonna do that. This is when I knew what YouTube was. This was many years ago, like over a decade. And I told myself, if I ever start a new YouTube channel, because I got like a couple other ones, I told myself if I ever do one where I'm talking about TV shows, I'm gonna do this, and I did. So this is where the inspiration for that came. Eyes Only. Now, Eyes Only. He's this like cyber hacker dude who tells the truth about what's really going on in the city. The corrupt, like billionaires, companies, you name it. He tells you the hack lasts only 60 seconds. And it's the only real voice that you will ever hear. And so he's talking about this pharmaceutical company. Remember that Theo guy who's sick? Now, Theo has been taking medication, but the medication is a placebo. It's sugar pills. The manufacturer takes the real medicine and get this, sells it on the Canadian black market. So this is why all these people are getting sick and supposedly dying. Some people believe what he says, other people don't know what to believe because they don't want the truth to come out. And so she hears this dude like early in the episode and she just like doesn't care. Then she sees him recording his stuff. At this point in time, there's a bodyguard looking around and he sees her rope. And then she opens up like a room and there's like a woman and a child there. She freaks them out. They scream. Bodyguard comes in. A 250 something pound ex-cop bodyguard with a gun. She's swooping around that room, running really fast because she can run at high speed. And she takes him out. He is knocked out on the ground. In comes Eyes Only, Logan Kale. And he's played now by a disgraced actor. Ugh. And so, like, this is how bad it was. He's like, I forget how old. He's 12 years older than her in real life. When she was 20, he proposed to her. She said yes. So he was like in his 30s and stuff. They broke up, and ironically, she blames him, talking about he should have known better. Well, yeah, because he's older, but so should she, you know what I'm saying? But we now know for a fact he is a disgraced actor. He was caught on video saying some really nasty sexual harassment stuff to Elijah Dushkush. And so, yeah, he is... It's so sad. This dude's a good actor, but he's disgusting now. And his niece, ironically, used to be on The Walking Dead season 5 and 6. She was Rick's new lover in Alexandria. So anyways, he stops her. He's all like now been like robbed by a girl. And so they're like having banter back and forth, kind of flirty and everything. And then all of a sudden the guard wakes up. She pins him like his arm behind his back. And then she dives head first out the window onto another building and just runs. And Logan is kind of like, this makes him think of something. So anyways, later on, she's at work, and before she goes to work, she goes and visit like Theo again, and he's doing way worse. His wife tells her that, you know, he got really sick that night. She had to like ask her neighbor for some money to get like a cab, and the way the woman says it, like you really feel it. Like this is how bad and out people are in this like world and stuff. And talking about how like the guy on like the TV is only talking about how like it's placebo, and she's all like, I wouldn't listen to him. He's probably just some rich dude or something like that. And so then she goes like to work, and Sketchy needs a favor. He's been cheating on his girlfriend, and he needs Max to pretend to be the girlfriend, be in the apartment of his girlfriend while she's not there, and talk to the mistress because she's going there. And she's played by that lady from True Blood, or is it something she was in? Teen Wolf, probably it was something. I know she was also on Once Upon a Time. She played like oh, what's that one villain name? Angelina Jolie played her, Maleficent. She was her in Once Upon a Time. So she's in this and she's talking about how like Sketchy's her man now and all this other stuff. And so she tries to slap Max. Max grabs her, throws her out the window. She flies over the balcony and Max catches her foot with one hand and holds her up with just one arm. And tells her to back away from Sketchy and this that's her man and stuff. So Sketchy's all happy and Max is all like, if you ever cheat on that girl again, I'll bust your balls and everything. And so while this is going on, Logan has found out who Max was and went to her job. See, he used his computer skills to get into the security camera of the building next door, and then it took a picture of her and where she works at. And so he then later goes to the bar she goes to because, you know, the people at work told her what, like, him where, like, you know, she hangs out at. Well, after he pays off her boss and everything. And so when she's at the bar, one interesting thing they do is that, okay, so she's looking to make some money. And so a bunch of people place bets. Basically, the owner, he hit the redial button on the phone, and she can literally jot out every number that the redial thing is beeping. Like, you know, ding, 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 ding. Before the numbers come up, she can tell you exactly what number it is because she can tell which beep noises goes with what number. And it's like uncanny she's able to do that. But then Logan shows up and they talk, they kind of flirt a little bit more, and then all of a sudden she disappears when they're talking because a hover drone comes above them. So anyway, she's having more seizures again, and she's having more flashbacks, and it's more military stuff. And one of the kids points the gun at the soldiers. One of the soldiers kills the little kid inside the building, and a man walks in. He is the main villain and stuff of season 1. Now, Max, when she was younger, she was running around at night and she saw that these kids get to be experimented on. They cut you open, they break your bones, they see how fast you can heal, they do nasty stuff to you. And so this is what caused some kids to want to like escape. So at some point in time, she goes back to like her place. And when she does, she's gonna go to sleep. But then she noticed something's in her place. It's the statue that she tried to steal that night. And so Logan, like, she doesn't like the idea of Logan being in her apartment and this and that. He's like, hey, it's only fair play because you was in mine. And so they start talking a little bit more. And then as she's getting romanticized by him, he lifts up the back of her hair and sees the barcode. And he's all like, I knew it. He's like, a couple of years ago, I got a tip about a genetics laboratory that the government was running about these super soldiers being little kids. And she just kind of playing off like, you're crazy and everything. And it's, as she's about to leave, he lets her know that only a dozen of you made it out. That makes her stop her tracks. She couldn't believe only 12 kids escaped because there's a whole lot more of those kids back there. And he tells her, you know, I can help you find them and stuff like that. But she doesn't want what he's selling because he shows her what he stole from her place, her meds. Now she needs these meds. It's explained why in the 3rd episode. Basically, it helps with her seizures because she has a neurological disorder. It's like a flaw they built into these kids, so they can always like have to return back to, like, you know, the military facility and stuff. And not only that, but their barcodes on the back of the neck. If you're wondering why she never got lasered off, it's genetically implanted in her skin and her DNA. It's like a weird sci-fi type thing. So even if she does get lasered off, it comes right back and stuff. And this is how they track you down. So anyway, she's not buying what he's selling and she leaves. She's at work the next day, and on the news, the dude gets like ambushed and he gets shot up. And then so she goes to visit him in the hospital. And he's like in like a coma and everything. He's still alive. But like the little girl she saw on the news, she got kidnapped in the car. Now, the woman and the girl I mentioned before, they're on witness protection because the woman used to work for the pharmaceutical company and she knows that the head dude is like giving placebos and stuff. So he's trying to shut her up. While she's there in the hospital, she's looking out the window and there's a man in a suit with a bazooka. And so as she's monologuing like she always does, before she started doing all this, she was gonna rob Logan. Like when she's at the hospital, she looks into his wallet and she's like, man, the nurses beat me to it. So anyway, she wheels his bed out of there and gets him to safety. And then because like he told her about the pharmaceutical and about your friend's gonna die and everything, but she doesn't want to believe him. And then she goes to Theo's place. His wife is sobbing because he passed in the middle of the night. So Max knows that what Logan was saying was true. So she now wants to get this little girl back and stuff. Because even though she could care less about like everybody in the world, she does have a soft spot for people, especially this little girl. And she also wants to expose kind of like this pharmaceutical company because what they did to Theo. So she heads back to Logan's place, and there she meets the woman, and they're talking. And so Max is all like, I'm gonna help you get your girl back, but I never done stuff like this before, so I'm like just playing it by ear. And so she knows the pharmaceutical dude's name, so she crashes his like party in his mansion. And so when she sneaks in, she sees one of the working girls. There are tons of prostitutes there. She knocks her out, takes her dress, and then she's at the party. I like the way Jessica looks in it with the hair pulled back and all this other stuff, but I've never been a fan of this dress. It just doesn't look right on her for some reason. I've just never liked it. And so she's walking around and she's looking for the dude who had the bazooka, and she finds him and he takes her to the head boss. She goes up to him and she's just basically all like, she mentions the little girl's name. He makes everybody clear out stuff for Bruno. Gun pointed to her head and she's all like, look, I got her, I can get you her, but I want 50 grand and everything. And so I'll make the drop. I want Bruno to come with me. And so she wants Bruno to pay because she likes the eyes only dude. And so they go to like a hotel to make the drop. He's being sleazy and like talking all nasty to her. She's monologuing like always and stuff. And he's just kind of like, call her up now. But she tricks him into thinking his boss is going to blindside him and like betray him. So he like shoots at her with the gun and she's ripping through the room at super speed and just like knocking the gun out his head, tossing him around the room like a rag doll. And then so she ties him up, but then he gets free, gets his gun, and he shoots at her. She pretends to be hit and falls in the pool. He's waiting for several minutes, but then he's like, screw it, because he's gonna get his boss back for betraying him. So then she raises up from like the pool water. She was down there for minutes, but like I said before, she can hold her breath. So then she calls the laundry PI dude and she wants him to like track a number for her and everything. That's the place where it has the girl. She changes and then she heads on her motorcycle. Well, the military bad guy finds this out because he tapped and bugged the dude's building. This bad dude's name is Colonel Lydecker. He is the one in charge of something called Project Manticore. That's where all those little kids were at. They're super soldiers. They grow up and they assassinate whoever you want them to, or beat up whoever you need to in the field. And so he is very cold-hearted, very stiff, very evil. This man is like the boss of bosses when it comes to supervillain type people. And he was great. I think the actor's name is John Savage. Amazing. He was in Star Trek Voyager as that other starship from the Federation that Voyager found in that two-parter. And he was supposed to take over for Janeway because the actress wanted to leave but decided to stay. And so she heads to like the place where they're holding the girl. But Lydecker got there first. So Lydecker's men gonna break in, grab the girl. Don't know what they're gonna do with her. And but it's not return her back to the mall. But before she does that, we see somebody ambush one of the soldier guards. The soldiers, they break in, they hold all the men at gunpoint, and then we see one of the soldiers take the girl out, holding her in the arms and walking in slow motion. It's Max disguised as like a soldier. It's one of the coolest like breakouts ever. Max is just strolling through everybody, pretending to be a guard, holding the girl, walking right past Lydecker. But then he has a suspicious feeling and he turns around, makes her stop. He's all like, put the girl in my car. And then so as she's like leaving, he contacts one of the guards and all like says something, do you have the Max girl that they're looking for? He knows that Max is one of the adult escapees. He's one of them, do you have one of my super soldiers? And they're like, negative, sir, we don't know where she went. He now knows the soldier person that walked past him with the girl had to have been her. Now, her entire body and face is covered up, except for her eyes are exposed. And Jessica has these big puppy dog type eyes. He should have known that his soldiers don't look that good. Because he brought with him all male soldiers. And so she rides off on a motorcycle. She gives the girl back to like the mom, and then she like rides out into the night. And so then back at work, another delivery guy is there with a box. Inside is Theo's ashes. And then he needs like $100 for the delivery. Well, the boss dude doesn't want to pay it. So then that's when everybody who works there chipped in and paid it, but makes the boss feel guilty. And then he tries to pay some money too, but they're like, man, keep your money. We take care of our own. And you can just feel that sentiment, you know what I'm saying? And then so after that, 3 months later, Matt's about to deliver the ashes to like his widow. 3 months later, we hear eyes only, dude. And so we see Logan and he's doing his eyes only and Max is there. And then we see the result of him getting shot, even though he had bulletproof vest. He's now in a wheelchair. And so him and Max, they talk some more and he's all like, I need you to do a favor for me. She's like, no. She's not being some type of superhero, this and that, but he needs somebody out in the field to do. So when he gets the tips, she goes in and she takes care of business and saves the day. She doesn't want to do it until he casually brings up a file about a person with a barcode happened to be a little boy. That how he was arrested a couple of like years back in escape. And that guy is Zach, one of the escapees that was a kid. So of course now she's gonna start working for Logan because he can track down those kids better than the other dude. And so then she's back on that little skyscraper thing. She's monologuing again and it ends. This was just like a cool show. It felt like a movie. Now this was the most like cinematic you'll see the show. The rest of the show is generic, like drama, hard-hitting dialogue, a couple of little fight scenes here and there. It's the same, but it has a different feel to it, you know? And like I said, she monologues a whole lot less. It is sad people have forgotten this show. If the second season wasn't so bizarre, it would have lasted. But thank God it didn't, because when I do the rundown review, when you find out what's going to happen in the third season, you're just like, oh, I mean, that's stupid. And it was stupid. So thank God James Cameron couldn't have screwed up the show worse than what he did in like that of the second season. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.